So Nolan Wells' family, his mother and father, went on to Good Morning America and said that his phone was pinging in different locations all over the place while they were searching for his phone. Now, they, as in the friends that took Nolan out on a boat on Horns Island, want everyone to believe that they went out, partied, Nolan was left there, his body came up. New evidence is coming out on social media. Now, I know how everyone says we must scrutinize information that is coming from social media, but even places like X.com and Facebook are giving us real time news ahead of mainstream media because, see, mainstream media needs to vet the information and verify the facts. So, a lot of misinformation and a lot of truth is given to us publicly. So, I am looking at these receipts that have been posted on Facebook regarding exactly what happened to Nolan Wells, when it happened, and specifically why. So apparently, this right here is a picture taken from Evan's Instagram account that shows Nolan, the only black person in this pool, with everyone else being white. Okay. And Nolan is right there, right next to someone by the name of Warren, who looks like he's trying to get his attention or, just talking to him. It looks pretty normal. There's literally about 20 people in this pool. Each and every one of these people have information and belief and pretty much have the opportunity to speak up and or just live for the rest of your life holding a secret that ultimately ended someone's life. So one brave person is speaking out and they are saying that someone, Nomo, didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend, Nono, and Wyatt did get into an altercation right after that, even not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, "Give me my effing phone back, nigga. What's wrong with you?" So they all came down, and that's when we head to Evan's house because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, Nunu came to the party, and yes, we was drinking, but Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew was really high, and I think they was trying to get lucky, Lucy and Natalie, to try some as well. But yes, they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 1 a.m. I know even Evan's mom kicked all us out once they started fighting. It was Andrew and Evan and Wyatt, and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, "Get him, get him." And all I could hear was Nunu scream, "Mom." So yes, I tried helping. Then his mom come out screaming, yelling, drunk, make us leave, and was saying she was gonna call the cops on us if we didn't leave her house. But they didn't let Nono leave, and Nono was by the basketball goal that was inside the pool. He was leaning over beside it, gasping for air and spitting up blood. But now his mom, no, I just got off the phone with her. Okay, so Nono is pretty much Nolan. That's his nickname. And these are receipts coming from in message between Kayla Maria Hill and Alacia Spencer on Facebook. Alacia, Kay actually at Alacia said, "If this was true, it's confusing. If Nolan went to the pool party after the island, how did his body get discovered on the island? You're saying they beat him up at the pool. Why wait till now to tell his mother?" Alacia responded, "His mother knew, ma'am. I've been told her. Yes, Andrew was trying to keep us quiet, trying to put fear in us because he bigger than all of us. But I told no, mom, and that's why the private autopsy was made." But yes, it was a big fight at Evan's house at the pool the same night. But yes, Wyatt and Andrew and even Evan was jumping him after even Evan's mom threatened to call the cops on everybody to leave her house. Everybody left it, but no, he wanted his phone. Alacia said, "Wow, I hope the truth will come to light and Nolan gets the justice he deserved." Yes, ma'am, my brother going to get justice. The truth is out. They took him back to the island that Monday morning around 4 a.m. They found him, I think 8 or 9 a.m. I can show you the picture as well. I would tell you to go look at it, but Evan deleted the picture Sunday. And Alacia said, "LOL, obviously I did. That's how they got his phone because I called." and his phone and keys was on top of his Xbox. That's why they requested him to have a private autopsy, because once they came to the house, Evan and Warren had deleted everything, including the videos No posted that night, and I showed them the pitch of all of them at the pool party that night. And Alicia continued to say, Jay saying that because he is friends with them, as in the friend. You guys know the friend that went on to TMZ and said that he don't believe race was involved, and it looked like he was compromised, and he cared about his friendship with these people. Who? Evan, Warren, Morgan, and just the white boys that he needed to feel comfortable around. They probably paid him off or just paid him special attention that he never had from white people in his life. And so he felt tokenized and felt like coming out here saying that he was best friends with No, aka Nolan. But at the end of the day, he was compromised and wanted his friendship with those white boys who unalived No to be at the forefront. So he was definitely compromised to come out here and tell that lie. And he said, I mean, we all was until I don't know why Jay's still communicating with them anyway, but he always been like that, LOL. But nah, this messed up because Nolan still would be here if he didn't go to that pool party. He went around people that was real high and the parents allowed it. Yeah, No did make it back to land. And there you have it. That's why his mom was confused when his phone showed up on land and then water again. He was at the pool party. They jumped him, unaliving him, took his body back to the island, and they stupid asses trying to cover it up. Shit's so sad, man. This Alicia Spencer just helped more than she realized. If you look at the picture that Evan deleted, the biggest white boy in the pool is the one in the far back middle with all the hair on his chest, looking way older than 18. So again, they're talking about this boy right here, right next to Nolan with all the hair on his chest. He's looked like he's talking to Nolan, trying to get his attention and trying to get him involved in whatever else. This boy right next to him. And then there's this other guy who I think is Evan, looking at Warren to get Nolan to partake in the conversation and whatever they had going on over here. And then Nolan is looking at this group of everybody else that's paying attention to the camera, while this other guy with the this is him with the hair on his chest. This guy right here looks way older than 18 and is in the picture, and obviously he would have an issue with the only black kid at this party. This is a grown ass man right here next to y'all children. So he's a predator. He preying on people's children to unalive them. He preying on y'all daughters with the this girl right here, right next to him. She has a moon. What is it called? A white claw, a high moon in her motherfucking hand, like she grown and all this shit over here. And the parents were inside allowing this to happen and allowed this big grown ass man in the pool with their children and let this big grown man instigate a fight with these kids, and they all jumped him because he has that type of influence over these kids. So this is the big grown man with the hair on his chest that needs to be locked up ASAP for even being in the pool with these underage girls, let alone unaliving a black man. Again, this happened on 4th of July. He definitely looked like a Proud Boy. And when I say a Proud Boy, I'm talking about the race relationships between the actual celebration of 4th of July, segregation, Mississippi being one of those states that they don't even want to segregate. They actually fought against it wholeheartedly in this area. Jackson County, Mississippi, historically speaking. And I feel like this Proud Boy right here wanted to initiate these younger kids to be into his cool kids club. Not offering them money or anything of value other than the fact that you're cool because you're doing these drugs that I have to offer to you while I flirt with the girls here, even though I done ran through your parents in the house as well. So Warren needs to be in prison and arrested is what he needs. And this is the long message that actually went into details about it. And so right now, all of this stuff is not necessarily confirmed simply because it is not in the mainstream media's possession. I'm one of the people believe in social media being the best news. Otherwise, there's a political agenda behind it. Midterms are coming up, especially, and a lot of people are getting news from Twitter, from Instagram, from Facebook, and then the mainstream media would like to tag on. There's protests in the name of Nolan Wells, and just hypothetically speaking, let's say everything that this girl wrote and put out there about Nolan getting jumped in this particular situation, where he had to defend himself 3 or 4 against 1. Suppose he took something and stabbed them, and all those kids at that party is gonna be quiet and act like these other kids was not high for drugs and were not antagonizing the situation that ultimately could have ended their life. They were rather black boys be in a situation where we're losing our lives and we're getting jumped, and they got the upper hand on us. And if we even the score, then we're in the wrong. Damn if we do, damn if we don't type of situation. Rest in peace, Nolan. Again, there's a second autopsy been ordered outside of the Mississippi state in itself. A doctor who happens to be a black man is doing a second autopsy on Nolan. And if what was just posted and publicized is true, then that means that there's obviously a lot going on and people should be held accountable. Every single person involved, every single person that deleted things, even the state officials that's helping them cover up their crimes locally. The judges, the state attorney is who oversees that. I think her name is Linda. She's a white woman. Hopefully she do the right thing. If not, there's the FBI that can go in and clean up all of that. There's also the Department of Justice for these situations to be actually adequately paid attention to. I definitely feel like this is a strong case to where criminal charges can actually be filed against individuals, but it takes an outsider like Benjamin Crump to come in and spark interest in that. And then again, of course, it falls on the local authorities. You got Ashley Nicole, a mother of a child that was actually there, that pretty much told her exactly what happened. And then she called around trying to plot and conspire, even using her Facebook account to fuel and propagate a narrative that she's actually feeding the local authorities, throwing a rock and hiding her hands. So this child was beaten to death by 3 and 4 white people, big grown ass men that's at pool parties to look at y'all's children. And y'all
still reeling from the loss of a beloved community member, coming together for a peaceful protest to demand justice for 18-year-old Nolan Wells. Just 1 week after he went to Horn Island to celebrate the 4th of July with friends and never came home. 2 days after that trip, investigators made the heartbreaking discovery. Wells's body found in the water offshore. His parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, telling GMA they want honesty and transparency and a thorough investigation into their son's death. Authorities say his friends claimed Wells decided to stay behind on the island, but his parents say that wasn't his character. They also told GMA that when they retrieved Wells's phones, some texts appeared deleted and his Snapchat accounts were empty. Wells, a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College, was expected to be back with his teammates for preseason this week. We spoke with his head coach, Les George, who says the team is devastated by the loss of a beloved teammate.
We had a team meeting that evening once everyone had moved into the dorms and settled in, and we didn't talk about football. We just talked about how the most important thing right now is that we're here for each other, and made sure that we had counselors in place for them.
Now, Nolan's parents have now flown his body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy with help from former NFL quarterback and activist Colin Kaepernick as they await results as protesters call for answers.
And they're going to get the answers. It makes sense why the phone was pinging all over the place. The mother has personal knowledge and personal information about that. They can, and they will, subpoena the phone companies to show exactly what messages was deleted and what they said. Hopefully they can show what they said. I mean, people like local law enforcement are able to do that, or the FBI. I don't think Benjamin Crump has the power to do that. I'd be interested to find out, or at least have him to try to do it, especially if the request is coming from the person who owns the line. I'm pretty sure Nolan Wells' mother was the person over the phone line, so she can get that information to see what was deleted and what was removed. There has to be, and there had to be a reason why Nolan Wells' family is sitting there calm and centered. They know that with the information they got, they have a lot of power and they can position themselves to get this communication and slowly but surely leak it out to the public and paint these white demons the way in which they are supposed to be viewed, because that's exactly what these particular individuals are. There's a group of white people in America, the January 4th, 1776ers, that really feel like they missed out. You know how like you listen to Michael Jackson and you listen to Donna Summers and even, whatever, Boy George, whoever the fuck, James Brown, and you listen to that music and you just can't help but visualize and wonder what it would be like to have been there living in that time. And that's your favorite era. You dress like it, you take on a personality. Shit, this kid's born right now. They gonna know Michael Jackson just like we knew Michael Jackson. I mean, I lived through the phenomenon of him being alive, but you know what I mean? People are going to be inspired by the music, inspired by the times, politically, socially, economically. So these J6ers, January 4th and 1776ers, they feel like that they missed out on what they parents and grandparents, even grandmothers, they greedy, bald-headed, stinking, funky ass grandmother who had a black woman acting like the help taking care of your rotten ass fucking father. They feel like they missed out and they want to see what it's like to have a black body swinging from a tree or to take a black lives. And if their grandparents and everybody got away with it and we're supposed to be on this code, then let me test this out, especially when they get high. See, when you get drunk and high, you end up doing shit that you want to do already. You lose control when you're drunk and high. You take that chance by kissing someone that you always wanted to kiss, or you go out and you experiment and do some crazy shit like Diddy party or taking someone's life and call that, damn, we was balling greasy. Oh my gosh. That was like some Grand Theft Auto shit, bro. We unalived that Negro and we don't care, and everybody else who around it wasn't hot. Y'all white though, and this is a black man, a black boy. Y'all gonna take up for that? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You want to be down with us? You want to do all drugs one day? You want to feel safe coming back in this community? Your parents grew up here. You want to grow up here? You want your kids to? It's a lot of coercion that goes on in these small towns. That's why I say in this situation, thankfully, some people are already bold enough to come forward, but what about in Collins County, Texas? It's going to take probably 5 of the next 10 years for somebody to come out, or maybe a year, and talk about what exactly happened underneath that tent. How we all been hoodwinked and doomed and told and force-fed a lie just because it's the narrative that you want to push. And again, this is big. This is bigger than Jackson County, Mississippi. This is bigger than the state of Mississippi. Jackson County, Mississippi. Google it. They were the number one county in Mississippi, steadfast, talking about we're not going to do away with segregation. They practice systemic racism at a rate unheard of in Jackson, Mississippi. I feel bad for the black people there. I feel bad for the black people in my little town. I see what they go through. It's hard to get a loan. It's hard to be taken serious, nigga. You fix up your credit. You do what you got to do, and then they still tell you they got the right to refuse you just because of your name, just because of your zip code and where you live at. They got you redlined in a whole system of racism built against you, and they don't value you. You're not worthy of credit, no matter how much cash you have. Go spend it at the casino, Negro. They judge you according to that, and again. July 4th, this is symbolic. This is very symbolic, just like the Kendrick Johnson situation where he was at the gym. They edited footage like they did the Kanika Jenkins footage and the Carmelo Anthony footage to make it look like that boy just rolled off to the side and he ended up in a mattress with no organs inside of his body. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and say that boy organs was taken. I wouldn't be surprised. But according to what we know now and what I do believe, there was some type of beating and punishment. Y'all remember that Snapchat video of someone saying, give me back my phone? That was actually Nolan. That was his parents confirmed that. They know his voice. On the boat. And then they're claiming that after that happened, he went back to a party and they dropped his body back out there. And they forever and ever wanted to hide the fact that he was hanging out with them at a party with grown people and they had alcohol and all that shit out there. Sorry. Do all them parents know that their daughters and sons was drinking High Noon and Heineken and had a man in the pool that had more chest hair than a 40-year-old? Did these other parents know that that grown man was in the pool with them and that grown man caused all of this chaos and confusion and ended up jumping this boy because he black, right? Yeah. So thankfully, somebody is coming out, speaking out, and giving us more information and more context. In the fact that this black friend that he had, we're gonna call him Eddie 2.0. Ed, and Eddie. Nolan Wells' best friend. How you his best friend? You can't even look in the camera and avenge your homie's death. You a suck ass nigga. And you put your face out there on top of this shit. You jumped out there too soon. Ain't nobody never gonna respect you. White folks don't respect you. Ain't never gonna like you. Bullshit ass nigga. And we see what the fuck you did. They use you like a pawn. And you're no longer useful to them. They need to arrest your motherfucking ass for lying and co-conspiracy. And check your goddamn phone before you jumped on TMZ. Because I'm pretty sure your white friends, the ones that you want to hang around and be cool and popular in front of, they told you what to say on TMZ, you bitch ass nigga. You jealous of Nolan, nigga. Ugly ass nigga. You a hater. I hate niggas like this. Niggas like this is the ones that Harriet Tubman shot the shit out of. Don't want to be free. Won't even take a chance. Again, look at this grown ass nigga right here. With hair on his chest, nigga. Probably didn't even graduate high school. Ain't nobody else got no motherfucking hair on their chest. And you the one out here getting these kids high and having them doing your KKK work. Look at that. Look at the facial hair on him. Like, nigga, like, why you ain't hanging out with old niggas that got kids already? College. And then look, he got USA cut inside of his hair and his chest. You know he a J6er. You know that nigga a Proud Boy. You know he think less about black people. Sorry. So yeah, buddy. Yeah, y'all getting caught up. All these kids, yeah, they gonna throw you under the bus, sir. It's gonna be a big trial for you, sir, with your big grown ass.
Hey, my beautiful people. So I've done a channeling on Warren Hudson to see actually what he did to Nolan Wells. All right. So in my channeling with Nolan, y'all know I told y'all that it was a lie that the last time people saw him was between 3 and 4. Okay. This was a lie because Warren and Nolan, they were getting ready to go to some type of event. What I didn't tell y'all is that in my channeling with Nolan, I seen that there were fireworks. That's how I knew that he was still alive at nighttime. People were still seeing him at nighttime. And he was in a car. Well, more like it seemed like a little like mini type van to me. Remember I told you that there was a point where Nolan was not as naive anymore and he sensed danger, but he was trying to, fake it till he make it. He just wanted to make it back home. He knew something was up. So from Warren's channeling, they were on their way to an event, but they did not get there. So basically he pulled a switcheroo. Nolan was questioning. He was like, why are we here first? Why are we not going to where we're supposed to go? So Warren's coming up with this whole situation, basically just trying to throw Nolan off. And this is when he goes in to kill him. Nolan did not physically see it coming because it happened so fast. But Warren had so much rage that in his mind, he thought he was doing something right. That's why it was so aggressive. That's why it was so abrupt. In the challenge, what I saw is that this was coming from jealousy. He had been so jealous of Nolan for so long. He hated that Nolan was popular. He hated that Nolan was a center of attention. It was almost like an obsession. It's really just like a fatal attraction. I know people can be jealous of people, but his jealousy was so psychotic that for a moment when he did this to Nolan, he thought he was free. He thought he was free of being in Nolan's shadow. That's how bad Warren's mind is messed up. So he does that to Nolan. So you know what happens next. I tell you that, you know, they put him in the house and then they get him back to the island. I tell you all that stuff in my channeling with Nolan. Now, what Warren showed me, when they get back to the island, the way that they drop his body in the water, they did it in a way hoping that he was going to come wash up on the shore. They literally like dropped him in, hoping that the tide, the currents, or whatever you want to call it, were going to be on their side. Now, here's the crazy part, if that wasn't crazy enough. Warren is on pins and needles. I actually saw him watching the coroner do the autopsy. What does this mean? He thinks he has it in the bag. The coroner.
So he's watching the coroner do an autopsy, which is something that a parent don't even have the right to do. Warren, his family, they're connected to local authorities, local officials, to botch and stage an investigation. And this is why a second autopsy was ordered outside of the district. And Benjamin Crump and the Nolans are playing this smart. We want to see what this autopsy out of Mississippi has to say. It's done. Go ahead and find your findings and publish it, since Warren was right there. So we're going to slap you with this second autopsy that happened outside of the district. So Nolan's family right now is playing chess like a motherfucker. They're giving Mississippi the space and the opportunity to let them know what's going on with the autopsy. You don't think Ben Crump sent that shit to a second doctor, and as soon as the body got there, that he doesn't already know what happened about this beating and so forth? They're playing chess. Mississippi, you did the first autopsy. You got so much integrity, and you're not about race. This is why they was like, oh no, we're gonna take race out of this. They probably already know the body was severely beaten up, so that they can wait till the system, the white people, the Ashley Cole, the judge, the mom of a student that's helping them fabricate this storyline. What are y'all gonna say? Huh? We tired of playing these games. We done seen it to where people come out and there's a second autopsy happen with George Floyd and it's conflicting information. Guess what? We're prepared for that. We ain't gonna let you sit up here and state a cause of death and act like we can't go live and tell the whole world within 5 minutes after you sat there and told a lie what's really going on with this body. So if Warren, according to this medium, shout out to Undead for sending me this video. If Warren was monitoring and watching the autopsy, that means his family, his parents, are connected to local officials. I've seen this before. I promise you I've seen this before. Even white people I went to school with helped sit up there and lie about what the fuck I know my intuition told me, So, thankfully, there's a second autopsy. Thankfully, they have not announced what they found in their autopsy. They're waiting. We're all waiting for you to see. This is how you combat systemic racism and point it out from the coroner's office, the police, the judges, the courts. This is how you attack systemic racism. So what's up with the autopsy, Mississippi? I mean, Al Sharpton and Ben Crump, they stated, oh, we don't believe this is about race. Are you going to do something to let the people realize that, hey, my intuition ain't off. This is about race. That's how you play that shit. Nobody likes to be told what to say, what to think, and what to believe. And when you dealing with somebody that know how to play chess like that and let us think and believe, we still on the edge of our seats. And by the time Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, specifically dealing with this Nolan Wells situation, by the time the way they say race is involved, the mainstream media, a journalist is going to ask them about it, and they're going to think it was their idea to interject race in this situation. See, that's how you call, and that's what you call benefiting off of white guilt.
Warner was literally just getting evidence, forensic things, just to look at it if somebody drowned. No other circumstances. That's it. This independent autopsy is going to show us everything that we need to know. So this let me know that Warren was banking on their good old boy system. He thought he had to underlie.
Right, and talking about somebody drowned and they need dental records. What are they talking? What are they gonna say? A shark bit up the body and the body was so severely bad. I mean, I think Nolan's family was at the scene when they uncovered the body, and anybody heard about none of that. So they're shaking in their fucking boots. They're shaking in their boots. And the hard thing that they have to decide is somebody has to go down, but who? My son was involved, but he can't go down, so we gotta blame this one. They're playing a blame game. This is why they got lawyers. They all got lawyers, and all they motherfucking lawyers is over there at Ashley Cole house discussing what each of their clients said to come up with a final case. You know what that looked like? That looked like the Julio Fulio trial, where all of them got the same defense and pointed fingers at each other. And that was their defense, is that they didn't do it, the other person did it. That's what they're ironing out right now.
By putting him back in the water. Somebody instructed him on how to put him back in the water. And y'all know who that was. His stepmom, Judge Ashley Cole. I already explained that to y'all, that I seen that evidence in my other channel. And y'all got to catch up. Warren is evil. He planned this. He has a mask on. He is smiling in everyone's face, dictating orders, and they are terrified. For one, they terrified that they're going to be next because he's very irrational. He's willing to do anything at this point. He's watching all social media. He is glued to the TV. He is like taking in everything right now. But in his mind, he thinks that he's gotten rid of the competition and that he's free. And what does this sound like? This is definitely about race. Definitely about race. White men have always been obsessed with black men. It's just always been that way. Warren is definitely under white supremacy. Probably could be a KKK member pretty soon. And he would do this again. Also, that friend that TMZ interviewed, something else that I did not tell y'all when I did my channeling with Nolan. I saw that they were going to have somebody make it seem like it was going to be okay to say that race wasn't an issue, that everything was cool. That little boy that got on there that's supposed to be Nolan's friend, his mom agreed for him to get on TMZ and have that interview and to say those things to make it look like race is not a factor. Also, there is a girl that they may get to try to take the fall for this. When I channeled Nolan, I literally smelled feces. The shit was on the girl's shirt. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this on me. So that means that this girl got caught up. She has some evidence on her and she did not know it until it was too late. But I fixed that shit though. I put that evidence under the shoe of the killer. So what does that mean? That shit is stuck to them literally. They got a smell to them. That means that they will be found, they will be outed, and they will come out, which is going to be Warren Hudson. You will be outed. You will have no choice but to confess.
Oh shit, let me see. Warren Hudson. Let's look. And they're praising. Oh, this was like back in May. Like this little skinny ass kid right here. Like, bro, they look old as hell. They do. They look like they in their 40s, bitch. They look like they been getting motherfucking high, yo. Is you crazy? They look like crackheads. Like, why the fuck is you high school, 18, 19-year-old age, and your face look like this, bro? Yeah, they on drugs real bad. Are they playing tennis? Fucking love tennis. So this is Warren Hudson. And judge whose son was on fatal boat trip with football star 18 who drowned offers explanation as to why he was left on the island before the tragedy. Judge whose son was on Warren Hudson explained that the mother of Warren Hudson explained that her son and his friends left Horn Island around 4:30 p.m. on Saturday, leaving Nolan Xavier Wells behind due to a boat problem. Our son Warren never loved Nolan dearly, she wrote. But your son looked like he getting high, got all kind of drug problems, and is just as crazy as Nick Ryan and probably unalive you for running your motherfucking beat for too soon. When these people are coming out saying that your son was involved in a physical altercation after you claim that your son left Nolan on an island, which is why his mother said that his phone was pinging all over the place, on land, back in the sea, this time and that time. The phone pings and pins with that phone, bitch. The cell phone companies got them times and got them dates and got them locations. So for you, like I said, Miss Chancellor, to come out here and paint a narrative for the local authorities to follow, little did you expect is for civil rights leader to come in and get a second autopsy outside of your district and outside of your control. In the way to attack systemic racism, you be the perfect candidate, because what's higher than a judge in the county? The state attorney. That's who you answer to. She ain't gonna do nothing about that. Okay, she racist. Everybody see she with the Proud Boys. So now let's go to the FBI. FBI ain't gonna do nothing. Okay, we see everybody racist. And then we start attacking systems and opposed to people. So you work for a system of racism, Miss Judge Ashley Cole, and you're out here controlling the narrative that the local police and the local authorities have to be suited for, or else, unless you want to take your ass behind motherfucking bars too, for out here interfering with substantial due process.
To you, America's most dangerous people on this soil. That would be the crackers. Take a look.
Oh, Lord.
These are the boys that assisted in murdering Nolan Wells. These are the thugs. The most dangerous man in America. White men, look at them. Just look at them. This is what they call the boy next door. Good old American patriots. This is what they call good. This is what they call the superior race. But if you're the superior race, why do you have to eliminate everyone else? Shouldn't it just be known? No, but y'all gotta kill the people that you actually think are superior. And Nolan was superior to all of this milk and curdled butter. Let's not forget their names, okay? We needn't forget the crackers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's most dangerous people.
Oh my goodness. People have the right to their opinion and so forth. And why, like, like, what the fuck? His legs look like toothpicks. Literally, this boy was crazy. But in here's the post that everybody is sharing with all these guys. Everybody here At the very least, everybody here with this timestamp evidence from Evan's account on the night of the 4th of July, not the night before 4th of July. This is the night after the boat trip. After y'all claimed that y'all didn't see him past 4:30. He's at this party. They got this picture. Metadata exists for a reason, and it cannot be faked or duplicated at all. This was after the boat trip at Horn Island, according to the sources in the mainstream news. This also explains why his mother said at different times his phone was pinged and pinned in different locations. This is why. Okay. So Ashley Cole, as chancellor of Jackson, Mississippi, you need to be publicly reprimanded for engaging in abating the bullshit that your ugly ass, skinny, high frog looking ass son told you, bitch. Okay, your son ugly as fuck. That's a grown ass man with some toothpick ass legs. They got a point to prove. Him and this dude right here been doing however many drugs out this bitch. Okay, long, tall, and skinny. He can go and play tennis and do all the stretching and Bikram yoga in that motherfucking cell that he want. And if you want to go behind him, then you can go behind him while you organizing. And you need to be hit with a federal case, motherfucker. Them local officials over in Mississippi. Why y'all ain't released the autopsy yet? We're waiting for the autopsy. So ugly ass, high ass son over this bitch. And you got the most shit to say running your beak out here. Look at how she got her son. Look how she next to him, smiling and all of that. Yeah, your son run your house, probably beat you more than that husband of yours, motherfucker. That's the way it look. Oh, this dude says, my thought as a former Mississippi judge who signed arrest and search warrants for 6.5 years and presided over initial appearances and preliminary hearings for those, preliminary hearings for those accused of unalignment and other crimes on whether an arrest should immediately be made of those suspects of foul play related to the death of Nolan Wells. He's in Buckhead, Atlanta. They ran him up out of Mississippi, and he looked like the type that them hood niggas is dealing with over in Buckhead. But here you go. Speak, nigga.
Hello, friends. Come on in. I'm Judge Carlos Moore. I'm a retired municipal judge out of Mississippi. I served for 6.5 years on the bench in not only Clarksdale, Mississippi, but I served for 4 years on the bench in Grenada, Mississippi. So come on in, invite your friends, invite your family, invite your relatives. If you want to hear a real person's experience as a judge in Mississippi opinion about whether or not there should be an immediate arrest or arrest of those suspected of foul play in relation to the death of Nolan Wells off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Come on in and hear from the horse's mouth. Someone who had the authority to sign not only search warrants, but arrest warrants. Someone who presided over initial appearances, arraignments, and preliminary hearings for those accused of murder and other heinous crimes in Mississippi. I can talk now that I am a retired judge. Had I still been sitting as an active judge, I cannot give you my opinion about an ongoing matter. But now I'm a retired judge and I'm a practicing lawyer in Tennessee. And I reside in Atlanta, Georgia.
And I want to make that very clear. Him as a judge that's retired, he knows and he made it clear that I'm not a judge anymore, so I can give my opinion on a public matter. So if this retired judge is saying that and ain't even in that county, why does Nolan's mother get a pass or should not be publicly reprimanded for giving her opinion based on a public matter? She needs to be publicly reprimanded. She interfered with substantial due process. Her narrative and what she wants the public to believe presides in the minds and in the heart of the people in which she governs as judge, including the police department, who has to make reports and forward them to the district attorneys that goes to the very same court system that she worked for. So she needs to be publicly reprimanded, Ashley Cole. As a matter of fact, anybody can write the judicial commissioner to have her removed. And I think I'm actually going to be doing that.
Georgia, but I'm from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I know the law, and I can give you my unfiltered opinion about what I believe should be occurring now or in the near future.
What's up, Sassy Girl? What's up, y'all? I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to say welcome to everybody. I see y'all in my chat. I'm sorry. I just be so busy, focus on the content. I don't want y'all to feel neglected or anything. I greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's be factually driven and, add a little education and a little spice to it. Y'all know how I do it over here.
And I'll be happy to give you my opinions, and then I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. It's time out for playing games. It's time to know the truth from someone well-versed in it that has actual experience. I've worn the robe, the black robe, and I've presided over these trials or preliminary hearings, arraignments, and initial appearances. Let's get started. So what do we know? We know, after watching the parents' interview and reviewing tons of footage from social media, recounting interviews and statements of alleged witnesses that were on Horn Island, we know that Nolan Wells went to spend the night on July the 3rd with his so-called friends. And he went with those so-called friends to Horn Island on a boat on July the 4th. We know that out of the 4 people on that boat, 1 did not return home. That 1 person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least 1 of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know that based on the mother's testimony that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know that text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place. We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over, call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that based on witnesses' account, the so-called friends were seen on July the 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend. We know that the so-called friends deleted their social media, deactivated their accounts, and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct. We know that the young man that had the car at his house did not willingly turn over the keys. At first he said that he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then he, after being pressed by the father, he finally turned over the keys. This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And there's been 2 different versions. Some say he said, "Give me my freaking phone," or some say he said, "Give me my ML phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see, is who had his phone and why? And was that theft of the phone? Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed the crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft? I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft of that phone, based on what I've heard. It had to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me in affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant for, at least at this point, theft of the man's phone. We know who had it. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it, and we know that Nolan Wells said give it back to him, and never did it. It was not given back to him. Why was that? All of the other things I've stated, you piece it together. Is there enough right now for arrest warrants for murder? That is a good question. I do know at this point there should have been search warrants signed by a judge. Evidence should have been presented to a judge by now. We are nearly 7 days after July the 4th, when he was first reported missing. There should have been evidence submitted by Jackson County law enforcement agents, the Sheriff's Department specifically, presented to a judge so that search warrants could be signed by the judge. And there needs to be, or should have been, someone questioning the young men, the 3 so-called friends, and others, and the social media accounts need to be searched by now, or at least a search warrant should have been issued for the appropriate entities to give the law enforcement access to the social media information. That should have been done by now. I'm not telling you what I imagine. I'm telling you what the process usually is when you're trying to do a thorough investigation. And based on what's revealed from a thorough investigation, I do believe once the evidence is secured, it's going to lead, and it should lead, to the arrest of one or more individuals for the murder of Nolan Wells. All of the actions are very suspicious, and right now they lead one to believe that one or more persons could have been involved with the death of Nolan Wells. Right now we have a lot of unsworn testimony, but once that is put into affidavit format and there is corroborating evidence through social media, computers, or otherwise, I believe that at that point there will be enough evidence for a judge to sign an arrest warrant. I think critical evidence that's missing right now are the results of the autopsy, the state's autopsy and the independent autopsy. That's going to be critical information. And that alone, or that in connection with what's already known, may be enough to lead to an arrest or arrest. We do know at this point, low-hanging fruit. There should be an investigation about the underage drinking, who provided the alcohol. Those individuals could be immediately arrested based on, if there was any sworn testimony presented to a judge, I believe a judge could immediately sign an arrest warrant for those who provided the alcohol to underage individuals. There's a lot of people and a lot of potential crimes, some misdemeanors and felonies, that people could be held accountable for. Was there any boating while intoxicated? Who was the captain of the boat? And what did he allow on his boat? If there were any illegal drugs possessed by anyone, drugs are still illegal in Mississippi, at least they were when I was on the bench. Drug possession, drug use, selling of drugs, dealing drugs, trafficking drugs. We've heard testimony, or allegations at least. I don't think anything's been put in affidavit format yet, about rampant drug use among certain individuals. So there are a lot of things that's been alleged. Once put into the correct format, affidavit-wise, it could lead to arrests for several things, including misdemeanors and maybe even felonies. So there's a lot left to do. We are not rushing to judgment, but I just thought I would come on here and tell you that there definitely should be search warrants issued by now, and there could be arrest warrants for certain crimes issued by now. But for the ultimate crime of murder, it is probably wise to wait to see what the autopsy reveals, or both autopsies reveal, and then parse that together with all the video footage, all the witness statements taken in the affidavit together, and then make a decision, get it all to a judge at that point, for a judge to decide whether or not to sign a warrant for the arrest of one or more individuals.
Right.
It will be very interesting to see what the autopsy shows. There's also a potential for kidnapping. Right. We looked at whether or not they can get to murder. Was there kidnapping? Was this young man taken somewhere against his will at any point? Was there abuse of a corpse even after he died? So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at from various law enforcement perspectives. Law enforcement has to do their job and get the information to a judge in the right format before a judge can act. Had I still been on the bench, if I wanted to act, I could not act unilaterally. I would have to wait till law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format.
You see what I'm saying? he would have to wait until law enforcement brought me the evidence in the right format. So with Ashley Cole out here making public statements and factual assertions about time, dates, this is intervening with substantial justice. So I'm gonna make a change.org petition to get her up off the bench, and I'm also going to attach to it the complaint that I filed with the commissioner in the state of Mississippi. And I think the public will be interested in that. What do you guys say?
Before I could sign an arrest warrant, before I could sign a search warrant. And so that's how the process works. That's how the process works. And so I am happy to be a retired judge. I'm always going to shoot it to you straight with no chaser. Straight with no chaser. I will tell you the God honest truth. I can tell you this one thing. I may have been born at night, but I was not born last night. And one thing about it, you cannot fool the informed. I've been on the inside. I know the process. And we will not sit quietly and allow this to be swept under the rug. I will call your hand. I will call your hand. You're not going to play these people for a fool. You are not going to play these people for a fool. We know the process. We know what you should be doing. And by God, I plan to make sure you do it. Or we're going to call you out each and every time. There is a process. Mm-hmm. What I do know is, had the roles been reversed, by now, there would likely have been already
right. I'm about
6
to
days, 7 days, whatever amount of days it's going to take. Had the roles been reversed, justice, the wheels of justice spin quickly. Somebody would have been arrested for something by now. But since the roles are what they are, we are expected to be patient.
Yes, it is. The judge, mom of a teen who was on Horn Island with Xavier Nolan, spoke out about his death, and when her sons last saw him on TMZ. This made the Shade Room. This made TMZ. Everything that she said, you're forming a defense for your child as a judge, as a public official. You know how when you go to trial, your sons and shit, the police came up there testifying and they be lying, but the public is always led to believe that the authorities is right. So this is the police. Why would the police lie? Why would the police say that? You got to catch the police up, and a lot of people fail at doing that. And their sons and their daughters get caught up because the police is lying on the oath, and they can get away with it because they have a heightened duty to protect and preserve the interests of a public. So why would you think that that person is lying? Now that's a police officer, but a judge, unlike a police officer, has a law degree, has practiced law for a set amount of time before they became an actual judge, the chancellor at that. Okay? And just for clarification, difference between a judge and a chancellor. Okay? Let me show you the difference between a judge and a chancellor. Okay? A chancellor is a specific type of judge who presides over a court of equity. While standard judges decide cases based on strict adherence to the letter of the law, chancellors focus on fairness and justice, often ordering specific actions like injunctions rather than simply awarding financial damages. So chancellors, if I'm not mistaken, the day-to-day work of a chancellor largely mirrors that of a traditional judge, but they both hear arguments, evaluate evidence, and issue legally binding rulings. A chancellor is someone who typically, when a grand jury indicts someone in a federal case, a chancellor would be that type of a judge that determines if the case should go forward after a preliminary hearing. And then it goes to a different type of judge. A chancellor is the ultimate gatekeeper to the court, especially like in a criminal sense. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, a judge is a judge, and a judge has a sworn oath of office that they must follow. Just because one judge is in small claims court and one is in restraining order court doesn't make a difference if the other one is in criminal court. They all have a sworn oath of office and took a constitution to protect both the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state in which they are indoctrinated to practice and exercise the constitutional law. of that particular state. So this lady's coming out here. She needs to be publicly reprimanded. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take time to actually draft up and write the Mississippi Board of Judicial Officers so that people can know I don't just go at black judges or people. If you are a public official and you just a bitch in a robe, then I'm gonna strip you of that robe so that everybody can see you just as a bitch. And Ashley Nicole, you literally are doing the wrong thing. You literally are interfering with substantial due process by painting a narrative for not only the local officials to consume, but for the whole world and the public to consume as well. Okay? You took your page off of private to delete things that you said and things and pictures and everything else, just like your son and them took Carmelo Anthony's phone and used his face against his will to open up his phone to delete content out of it. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. And said that he was coughing up blood and shit like that at the party and he needed his phone. Yeah, they gave it to him so he can open it and deleted everything else. Your son did that, and you want the public to believe that that's not true. You stand and you're doing what you're supposed to do, I guess, as a parent. Going out the head first for a motherfucking fool. You raising them white ass demons, skinny, tall, big, and all. Tennis players, football player, basketballs, niggas that white YNs, whoever the fuck, they all the goddamn same. And so for that reason, Ashley Cole, I'm going to make sure that the commissioner understand who you are. And if the commissioner in Mississippi has a problem and don't want to reprimand you, then I probably end up beating Benjamin Crump and the rest of them to the motherfucking federal government on y'all and that corruption that y'all got going on. That's what I'm going to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back on an update, and you guys will definitely see me post the complaint that I submit against Ashley Cole for interfering with substantial due process. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?